Sigh. I didn't want to have to make this video, but I guess I have to. I recently played Elden Ring, the hit 1998 classic. I heard all the hype about being FromSoft's longest, if not best, game to date. Now, this is only my third Dark Souls game, my first being Bloodborne, the card game, and my second being Dark Souls, the board game. I felt I had a grasp on the mechanics by the time I had started, but I learned quickly, because of a mandatory boss at the beginning, that I had a lot to learn. Stormvale ended up being my favorite part about the new game, simply because From Software has never been so bold as to make you choose between two areas to start: Limgrave or Liurnia, with a boss on either end of Stormvale, with their own challenges. You could fight Margit, who was strong, but manageable, and required specific movement to get into his arena, if you wanted to fight him more than once. Or, you could go through the majority of Stormvale and fight Godric, who required no specific movement tech to get to, but you have to get through Stormvale in order to do so. I went with Margit, and found that I could use the movement tech I learned to fight him to fight other bosses, and even get to other areas. I started my journey into Limgrave, and made it to Stormhill Shack, then made my way to the gate in front of Stormhill. I was really wishing I had a horse at this point, and I wish they added one for this game, especially as there were lots of enemies going around that had horses of their own. Quite a few features were added to make enemy horses far more bearable. One being they can actually kill the horse first. The other being that you can parry the enemies off the horses for a visceral attack. My starting class came with a shield, so I managed to do this once or twice. Speaking of starting classes, it was quite bold of FromSoft to make it so your levels are decided at character creation and cannot be increased. I beat the game and never managed to find a way to level up, but I did find various items that increase stats, and making items the main way to progress is such a bold decision that I'm increasing my rating on the game by at least 10 points. I'm glad they went down the route Naruto Shadows Clone Twice did. My only real issue with this change from the Dark Souls board game is that boss combat was generally lackluster. This game uses, and I believe I'm the first person to come up with this term, guidance, trademarked, to guide you into using a shield, given that so many starting classes start with a good shield, and how guard counters nullify most early game enemies. There's also absurdly strong shield skills that outperform most weapons. I managed to beat most bosses on my first try. When a boss did decide to put up a challenge, I managed to 3 or 4 shot them with a basic shield at +9. Now, on the subject of +9 shields, multiplayer, I never found the item to be summoned, but I did find the finger lotions, so I was only able to try co-op from the objectively worst perspective. I only did so for one boss, as it ended up being absurdly powerful. Maybe Malekith is just really easy, but I won't know until my next playthrough because of the absurdly OP summoning in this game. Maybe it's because I only explored 2/3 of the map, but I never found any of the cool dragon powers my sombreros used. On the subject of enjoyment, I was quite disappointed that there were so few true Dark Souls levels in the game in order to progress. I only had to get through part of Stormvale, and Farum was exceedingly short. I was hoping for a more classic example of Dark Souls combat, but I had to go out of my way in order to get any, as most, if not all, combat encounters outside of bosses were either in completely optional areas, even inside the classic dungeons, or just so easily skippable that I just went to the boss regardless. Even some bosses were so ridiculously easy to skip that I never even saw them. I have friends who thought someone called Morgott was mandatory. I thought they meant Margit, until they corrected me. With 3, I assume, mandatory bosses in the game: Margit, Malekith, and Hoarah. Hoarah was a weird one. I get wanting a second phase after the first HP bar, but I don't get why the second phase just kills you, and then God Slain pops up. I know I'm a god gamer, but that just feels like FromSoft wanting to tickle me for a good review. And it's working. Speaking of working, I currently have no job. So this video is sponsored by Mobile Shadow Skillshed, the free online encyclopedia that anyone can join for $9.99 a month. My clan has been given a special link for you to follow, and for everyone that joins, I get a piece of bread tossed into my hole. My family doesn't even know that I'm missing. If you join using code SKINWALKER, you can skip the first 50 levels and get your own piece of bread every few days. Come and join
my clan, gamers.
Now, this might be news to you, but 90% of people who watch these videos are unsubscribed. Those are poor numbers. Let's get that up to 100%. Dislike, comment about how much you hated me, and unsubscribe. It'll let me know how good of a job I'm doing exposing gamers for what you really are, you fucking man babies. Now, for my final rating on the game. I decided to go through my vast and expansive objective measurements for games. And I decided on the hard-fought number of 7 out of 10. I know that this number might be controversial, but I do feel that this is what the game has earned. And if you didn't get that from my review, you're just as bad as the baby gamers that, no doubt, disliked my video with hundreds of bots. This game, as you have proven, is only for people without friends and families.
Oh shit,
Let's go, gentlemen.
Alright, hold on a second.
Cast spells.
Wait, what the fuck is that?
Folks.
Wait,
Alright,
what?
this is the best strip I can get.
Hello, King. What's good, King?
You have a big ass fucking machine gun and you're using a fucking revolver as your
My stats
damage?
haven't really gone down.
Someone actually said that thing about not having friends and families, by the way. It said that you should just kill yourself.